Welcome to this brief overview of the new extended strategic moves planning tool within Excitech FM. So we're going to go straight into the moves planning tool. So this is exactly standard as you would do with any move. So we're going to actually create an example strategy move. And as it would normally do is actually put us straight into the standard mode, but we're actually going to we could normally just plan individual moves at this point, but we're going to switch into strategic mode. You'll notice here that this is now displaying icons instead of names. Where there's a location which is occupied, then you get a little kind of person symbol, and when it's unoccupied, then you get a little square block. Okay, so what we're going to do is the idea between strategy moves is where you're moving blocks of people, and especially where there's not actually any people specifically allocated to a desk. So for example, if I wanted to change the allocation of this bank of 4 desks, I can add these people into the move, and you notice straight away, same as on the standard move system, they move to the top of the area, but they're still not showing as people's names unless you hover over them. They're displaying as either square icons for unallocated desks or little staff icons for allocated desks, and they're color coded. Now by default it's color coding by department, but we can actually change this to different colorings. So for example, we could do this by business units, divisions, or indeed if you have either work zones or team groups set up, then you can color code by those, or you can literally do it by how you define them in the move. So because I've added these people together, then they're all in move group 1. Okay, so if I want to then move some other people, so let's say I'm going to move this block people here, and notice again there's some vacant desks and some occupied desks, so I'm going to add those. It's rather awkwardly swapping into department mode. I'm just going to change it back to move group, and notice now we've got 2 groups. So rather than having there's actually 12 staff or 12 locations in the move, but it's actually grouped them together by our choice of grouping, which is move group. So the people we added first are in the black group here, and the people we added second are in the red group over here. And if we then want to allocate them to a different location, so let's say for example we're going to zoom out, and I'm just going to, for argument's sake here, I'm actually going to move over to this area. Okay, now some of these are occupied, we don't really need to worry about that for the purpose of this move, it's just for demonstration purposes. So let's say I want to move those 4 staff that I originally selected. So I'm going to put those 4 staff on these locations, and I'm going to select them by selecting the locations here, and I'm going to select 4 at a time. So I don't have to do this individually, and then I can then allocate. So this is the same as move, but we term it as allocation. And you can see they've moved over to there. Okay. They've also moved to the bottom of the list because they've been done. So I can then select this 8 staff, or these 8 staff here. Let's say I'm going to move them to something completely different. Just going to pan over here, and we've got a nice little block of desks here. So what I'll do is I'll select those 8 staff. I'm going to select these desks here, choose allocation, and we see we've moved them over there. This hopefully should make it a lot easier to do moving people in blocks, and specifically when you're moving desk allocations. So if you've got a block of desks which is allocated to a group of staff, and you're moving those over, but they're not allocated specific names, so it's not really a traditional move in the sense of moving people from one place to another. You're moving allocations of where they sit. Now as part of that, obviously when we run the move, it will actually any actual staff will be moved to those new positions, and any allocations of staff, such as the team group allocations or department allocations, they will move over as part of the move, although there's no physical staff being moved. To demonstrate some of that, we can actually look at the move documentation, and here you see we have an additional report. Now this is designed within the standard report system. Okay, so you can see it's generated a report here. Some of the detailed information you can choose to exclude from the report if required. This is just showing you the actual individual desk moves, because if you are moving, you may decide to move equipment as part of the move. You're just not bothered about the staff allocations. But notice it's grouped them as to how we group them in the move, and it's showing where they're moving from and to for each of those groups that we moved. So it's a source started off here and moved to up here. Okay. So this is very new, so we're still extending some of this functionality, but hopefully it gives you a good overview of where we're going in terms of applying a moves planning tool to a more modern agile working practice. Thank you very much.